presentation is on Lion Spirit. That really encompasses cheer, dance, as the primary groups, but also band and our student population as well. I'm Taylor. I'm our Associate AD for Resource Development, and this is Seth. He is our Director of External Operations and Athletics. So we will go ahead and get started. So one of the first reasons we're requesting this funding is for a recruiting opportunity. Our cheer and dance programs, while they have been at a very high quality, we want to increase their impact and the ability for our coaches to properly recruit new members and to those teams, and to market our programs at competitions so that we can actually recruit students here that want to be cheer members and dance team members, and not just students who come here, find out there's a cheer and dance team, and then decide, oh, I'll do that. But we can actually recruit similar to sport teams that recruit athletes, and same with band and music department and all of our other programs on campus. Another aspect to that is a university recruiting event. So not only recruiting students that are going to be cheerleaders and dancers here, but also recruiting all other students. So our Spirit teams participate in athletics events, but they go to multiple events on campus throughout the year, from pep rallies that we have at the beginning of the year to other events that they're requested to be at, such as orientation and things like that, to recruit students here and really show the spirit that we have at A&M Commerce. It is a big part of why a student would want to come here, right? If you feel like you have pride and spirit in that place, it will help you in making that decision. And admissions is a part of that as well. Part of that pride to recruit and retain students here, to make them feel like A&M Commerce is their home. A big, I wouldn't say it's a huge problem, but it's something we would like to do, is be able to house our dance and cheer teams and spirit squads here during holiday and university closures at competitions. So some of the shortfalls we've had in being able to do that is the cost of meals for them. Sometimes the cost of housing has been a difficulty. Travel and just their overall welfare, if we're not able to truly monitor them or feed them and practice and things like that. It makes that a challenge, and funding's a big part of that. These games are pivotal in qualifying for postseason competition, which also leads to more recruiting opportunities. When we make the NCAA tournament, that's a good recruiting opportunity for the university. And we do that by winning games throughout the season. And when the university's closed, we lack some of our student participation because they're at home, and we'd like for our spirit and dance squads to be able to be there. So that is another funding reason. Travel is a huge one. Obviously the cost of travel for anyone is a challenge. Our cheer and dance, when they are at road competitions, at a select strategic road competitions, we're not going to ship them to Western New Mexico for a regular season game, but when we're playing Tarleton or Midwestern or UT Tyler when they're in the league, and we can get them there, it makes a huge impact in supporting our current students, but also, you know, kids in the crowd at those games going, oh, A&M Commerce is really cool. They travel their squads. It sets us apart from those other institutions. Students often travel with our cheer and dance, so a lot of times when we go to places like Tarleton, we may get a 56 passenger and fill it up with additional students. So it's an opportunity for students to get to go to a road game at no cost to them. We usually feed them and everything like that too. But the cost of that travel, you know, can get about $2,500 for a bus or something like that. But it's a really neat experience for a lot of our students. In band, we always fill up those travel opportunities. So there's been times when pep band's gone along to use that travel opportunity for a road game, especially in basketball or volleyball or postseason or something like that. Then again, we can't you know, cut short the campus impact that our spirit squads have had and can make if we're able to pump additional resources towards them. Our football attendance has been second in the entire country in NCAA Division II. That just improves our campus pride and tradition through our tailgating. You know, our spirit programs get there early, they stay late, they really pump up the crowd, and they're a big part of our campus spirit. And we just want to elevate that and be able to, in our other sports, elevate attendance numbers as well in basketball and volleyball to a high level. similar to band being at games, that just makes the atmosphere better. And that adds to, when alumni come back, that can add to philanthropic giving because they have a good experience. They see that we have some of the best resources in Division II and the best game atmosphere in Division II. And so it really is a good alumni outreach tool and philanthropic giving tool.
And it's a good recruiting tool.
Yes.
Sorry to cut in.
Go ahead.
At our tailgate, when we're walking, our sports teams are walking recruits through, or enrollment management's walking prospective students on campus through our tailgate. I think it's important that we have more visibility with our cheer and dance teams, because that gives them that true everybody in, high-spirited atmosphere, and gives them a memorable experience that then could potentially get kids here to school and help enrollment. So things like that are the things that we really try to hammer home. It's not just we want more just for us; we want it for the entire campus, and to improve our pride through campus. That's one thing I'm always hearing is student pride, and trying to continue to grow, set a foundation, and grow that to where it's everybody bought in, and I think this can really help impact us.
Yes, pride is a hard thing, I think, to bottle up and explain and really say this is what we're going to do to build pride, right? It's like kind of this obscure thing to explain. But I think our cheer and dance teams are on the cusp of helping us do that, and band is as well, and I think we can just take that to another level with some additional funding. Things that we could use the funding for as well are giveaways at games to engage students, and those would be through our cheer and dance programs. More marketing events on campus to students, that we can get our cheer and dance out there to promote our games a little bit more. Things like greeting fans, they arrive at games with special programming or special giveaway items for them as well, just fans, and that's where we get into philanthropic giving and attendance at games. Experiences like travel, in-game engagement, and spirit materials, those would be more directed towards our current student population, right? So we would be having ways that our current students could really engage with our sports teams. And then, like I said, holiday and university closure opportunities as well. So some of the budgetary items, this is, I think, one of the first years we've really done this, so we tried to map out, at least distribute somewhat. We would be requesting $17,560, $5,000 that would go to our cheer program, $5,000 to our dance program, and those would be used for like recruiting and different operational things they want to do.
More gear, stuff like that.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Student travel would be about $5,000. That would help supplement some of those trips that we go to away games. And then $2,560 would be for special need. We make the national championship in football again, and we need some funding to be able to do some things with our students. That would help us have that funding there to be able to supplement those costs and actually be able to do some of the ideas we have, not just have crazy ideas and then figure out how to pay for them. Some of the effects of underfunding would really just be that we wouldn't be able to do as much for our current students or for our cheer and dance programs. I think one example is that Tarleton has a full-time cheer coach that gets paid more than both of our part-time coaches combined. So it's kind of a struggle for her to be able to do some of the things that she wants to do with some smaller resources and really be able to help her team and things like that. So we're trying to elevate to that top level of the LSC, and this funding would certainly help us do that. Obviously, this was submitted by Tim, our athletics director. He is at Lone Star Conference Golf Championships right now, so that's why Seth and I are here. But if you have additional questions, I'll of course open it to the floor now, and then you can always email any of us at any time or call us. So, anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
I guess I'll go back to slide 3 when we talk about the university and holiday closings. If we're talking about our students here, are we paying for meals and housing during like Christmas break? I thought it was free. Like Christmas break, spring break, things like that. I mean, we could potentially be in the playoffs. Our housing and meal plans aren't free for those students.
No, they're not. So when we ask our students over the break to be here, that's either coming out of their operating budget. It's not covered by the NCAA. It's not covered currently by the institution. It's something for, it's something, an extra benefit for all the hard work our cheer teams do over the break, during the year to be able to stay over the break and do that. And especially a lot of this also has to do with championships, you know. Last year, I think spring break, or this most recent year, spring break was on, you know, NCAA tournament for our basketball teams. Well, let's say our teams had made it and we're hosting it here, and it's during spring break, they wouldn't be able to get meal plans here either. They may be home instead of all the hard work they put in throughout the year may not be rewarded because, oh, sorry, you have no food. So, I mean, we do things to try to make it work the best we can, but this would certainly help us, you know, with our students during those university closure holidays, that they can't have, you know, housing or meals at that time covered. Yes, sir.
So this is just to improve our cheer and dance.
Yes.
So it's not, so what is the currently the athletic department spending on cheer and dance? You know?
12,500.
Yes. I think their budget's around 12,000.
Okay. So the athletic department's going to continue to spend that money. This would just be
Yes.
additional funding.
We're going to continue to support at the level we can, but we're not satisfied with where we are at, and we cannot increase at this time in our budget. So we're asking to help, you know, those student programs. Obviously,
Yeah.
cheer and dance. Let's not forget, like, you know, we're talking about them as a program, but there's 50 men and women would be sitting in this room representing those programs that are students. So, you know, we're kind of talking about them as this object or thing, but really we're talking about individuals and kids who work really hard to represent our university and don't always get, you know, scholarship for that. Similar to our athletes who are walk-ons or get very small scholarship numbers, they're the same way. You know,
Do we have any cheer and dance scholarships?
We have, it comes out of that 12,000
Okay.
operational budget.
Okay.
So
Everything comes out of that.
everything comes out of that, I think, besides the part-time salary of the coaches, which I think is around that number as well. So, yeah, so when they decide, when our coaches currently decide, man, you know, Jimmy is a really good cheerleader, right? He's doing well. We want to reward him with $400 scholarship. That's cutting $400 operationally. That may be, you know,
Could be
food
used
when they
to,
travel or a
yeah.
uniform or something like that. It's not just like, here's your scholarship budget and then here's your operational budget. It's kind of coach's discretion of how they use that funding. And so a lot of this also would be used for that being able to recruit as well. Because right now I do think we have that problem of no one really knows much about our cheer and dance programs, right? So if you're at high school at Rockwall and you really want to be a cheerleader but you're thinking about coming to A&M Commerce or Tarleton, Tarleton has this robust recruiting and marketing of their programs, and we don't. And so we want to be able to amp that up and give our coaches an ability to do that. And part of that's funding, you know, making brochures or, you know, improving their website areas and things like that.
And one thing, you know, about the recruiting, I've noticed is, you know, when you recruit cheerleaders, they typically come, not just one, it's usually 2 or 3 from the same area, and so that definitely helps boost enrollment, grow numbers, and all that stuff. Same thing with dancers.
So if you have 50 students participating now, if you got this money, that number could grow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, so my question is, we're talking about 50 students and potential students out there somewhere. But how is this gonna impact the students that are here right now? The
Sure.
other thousands of students that we have? Like,
Yeah.
how does this year's team positively impact the majority of the students here?
So we have roughly how many students on campus, Dr. Newsom?
3,000 live on
3,000?
campus, yeah.
So we averaged 2,000 at every football game. I know you think football is just football, right, or athletics, but a big part of that atmosphere is our cheer and dance programs, right? So them being in the stands, pumping people up, contributes to the game atmosphere, contributes to a memorable experience beyond just a football game. Similar to the band, right? So, you know, you think of football as not just the sport, it's the entire event. You know, opposed to some of our other sports like golf doesn't really have a big attendance following, right? But that's a big event. Similar with basketball, attendance is very good right now. Volleyball attendance is good. So I think the impact that they're making could be better on our general students if they have some additional funding to do some special things for the student population, not for just that, not to keep them siloed over here and say, hey, you guys can have this to do your thing, but it's really to make their programs better, to impact.
What examples of this do you have?
of what they would
extra
do.
things they could be doing with more money?
Things they could do is they could add a few more cheerleaders and dancers. They could add some of these travel experiences where, you know, the 24 that can travel
But
go.
if they're traveling, are they really serving the students here?
If we have students travel with them as well to a game, that's what I would be talking about in travel, not just them traveling.
Usually
And-
when we travel to games, we take cheer and we put out, if students want to travel, they can get on the bus and go as well. So it kind of gives them an
It's a small
experience.
amount, right?
Filled up 56
30 per event, probably. Not to mention the football players, you know, that are also on the road, which are students, the 100 of them. And I think some of that's, you know, signage, some of that's, you know, marketing at local high schools and junior colleges and things like that. Signage at games can be huge for them to have, to do some, I'm not a cheer expert, but to lead cheers and things like that.
You know, on game day too, you know, they go through the crowd, especially basketball, they throw out items, whatever giveaways we have, shirts, hats. They help pick out scholarship winners at football. You know, we give away $500 scholarship every home football game. They're the ones that help pick those students out. They are facing the students, so they see what students are there the whole game cheering. So, you know, they bring a certain thing to game day that gives students an experience that, you know, without them, it would just be ho-hum, especially basketball, you know. During media timeouts, pregame, you know, they go into the stands, they get students pumped up, they throw out things to students. So those are some things that affect the students that do come to the games. And those are the things that we want, is to give the students an overall experience that's very memorable. You know, well, they did this at basketball games, because I was a college athlete, and I still talk about how things were when I played, you know, to students and this and that, to my friends that were students. So, you know, those are some things that we're looking for as well to help enhance that atmosphere, to give all our students a memorable experience.
So I think to me, I am not fully convinced that the things that you guys are talking about, because they're very like, you know, like you said, you can't really pinpoint what school spirit or school pride is. It's, you know, kind of an idea. And it's not very quantitative. So I guess my thing is I'm not terribly convinced that this is stuff that definitively needs monetary backup. So let's say that you guys have no money. What are some examples of things that you guys would do? I'm not saying you, I mean, obviously you guys are probably gonna get some money, but
Sure.
what are things that you could do outside of the box that you would be doing, that you could do, you know, if you get cut and you don't get as much money as you want?
Sure, I mean,
And,
we've
you know,
been funded at a
contribute
level
to
where I
this.
think most of what we have done is outside of the box because of our lack of funding. I think part of some of the things we want to do are to get some of the additional signage or opportunities to engage with students, some of the additional giveaways to throw out to students, things like that, that we get from partners and sponsors as well, but we want to be able to supplement that a little bit too. You know, our funding is significantly lower than some of our peer institutions, which is a challenge in helping that pride. But I don't want to forget either that, you know, we talk about 3,000 students on campus, half of those, or 500 of those are athletes. You know, another 200 is band, another 50 is our cheer and dance program. So you're almost at a third of those students are involved in athletics in some way, and then you have another 2,000 that attend football games. You're talking about a majority of our student population engages in some way in some athletics environment that cheer and dance are a critical part of. So I think when you talk about like segmenting into this small number of students that are being impacted, I think it's a larger global impact on campus, and they not only attend football and basketball, volleyball, and soccer, softball, they also come to events in the student center. Lucky also is requested at different events. So they are used, I know dance performs on campus at different things, so they are utilized in more, athletics is a showcase area for them to attend and do their, you know, do what they do, but they're also utilized in a more global sense.
And we also use them more, we didn't know how this, more in the community as well, you know, depending on what we have going on. You know, they're seen in Walmart brochures, high traffic areas, passing out information, not only about athletics, but about our university and what we offer. So it's also a recruiting tool. You know, it gets our brand in the community, in commerce, outside of commerce, and, you know, that's another thing too, is, you know, when these funds would be used to go recruit potential athletes, that gets our brand in front of people, Rockwall, Greenville, Roy City, Dallas, whatever it may be, you know, that's another opportunity for them to be seen and for people to see us and what we are. And say, well, what do they got going on over there? And then next thing you know, it could really help enhance our enrollment and atmosphere on campus.
You guys are the part of line athletics, right? Right.
Yes.
Do either of them compete in cheer or dance competitions?
Cheer has had to use some of their funding to go compete at a competition. I don't believe dance has competed in any competitions, but that's another problem is with our limited funding, our cheer coach is like, do I use my funding to go to a competition? Because in recruiting cheerleaders, they want that, right? Or do I use it to make sure that we can fully support our current athletic teams, which is also over here. So, there's that kind of give and take there.
Yeah. I
But
was just
cheer
curious.
has competed at a
And
competition.
a lot of our schools in our footprint that we compete against, they do go to at least one or two a year where they represent the university, wherever it may be, where cheer national is, or, something like that. So, those opportunities are happening at other places, and that's another recruitment tool that could enhance our brand here at Hampton Commerce.
I was just curious how we view these students that are on these two teams. Do we view them as athletes, or are they?
It's
viewed-
a tricky
Yeah.
thing, right? Because we do allow them to utilize services over in athletics, right? So they can utilize our success center. They obviously get training support. So they are viewed as athletes in that way, some, but they're also more spirit-based, non-competitive, non-NCAA group. So it's a little bit of a hybrid, I think, there between maybe a band and our athletes, is that
Yeah.
they're doing some more, some physically intense
Sure.
practice that they need trainers and they need things like that, but they also get to utilize the academic center and things like that because they really do put forward a lot of work.
Right.
It doesn't always get
Yeah, recognize.
direct recognition at all. If they're usually, honestly, more than not, just taken for granted, and instead of really being able to be a highly effective program.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thanks y'all very much.
Thank you.